So hello and welcome to the Peer Workforce Conference, Bridging Research and Practice. I am Belle with Share, and this section is what is a peer respite. And this is a roundtable, and I am one of the peer worker. Also, I'm a program coordinator at the Share Recovery Retreat in Murray Park in California. And so I'm going to just start off, and then people feel free to jump in afterwards, take turns. So I'm gonna talk about what is a peer respite. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a typical day at my respite and what kind of success do peer respite make possible. So once again, the retreat, we call it the retreat. We don't call it the boot camp thing, so that it sounds more appealing. So people will be like, oh, a retreat, okay. And it's free to stay for up to 2 weeks. We do 2 weeks for men and 2 weeks for women, then we alternate the cycle. It's a residential home, it's a 5-bedroom house. We use one of the bedroom as the staff office. And the house is fully furnished. It's 2 people per room. So we are able to host up to 8 people at a time. We have a pretty structured schedule, for people who comes in, and we have protocols, procedures of how, what they do. So during this day, they're going to learn some, of course. Let me backtrack a little bit. It's for anybody who is 18 and older, and they identify themselves with, mental health, mental health consumer and or substance abuse. So they have to just identify with, one or the other, or both. And it's free to stay, once again, up to 2 weeks. And so during their stay, they can learn or brush up on their life coping skills. We do, one in-house recovery activities and then 1 outside meetings every night as a group, as a community. We do outside events, and pretty much the guests that come to the house, they pretty much will run the house for the 2 weeks. We do have staff on site, pretty much almost 24/7. Because we usually do our first pickup day on a Sunday, first week on a Sunday, and then we do our drop-off day on the second week on a Saturday morning. And so on that second week of Saturday, we close a little early, at about 4:30. So give staff a little break, to clean, to make sure the house is clean and nice and neat to turn over. I'm sorry, thank you. And so get ready for the next house, for the next sections. And so a typical day is that we start off with a morning house meeting. Like I said, we have a lot of very structured agenda that people's going to do. And then we go grocery shopping every day. We have a budget, so that the purpose behind it is that we want people to learn some time management and budgeting. It takes one, to role model to learn it from another person. The staff we just kind of serve as a handrail. Like if they need it, we're right here. And resources. And successes that we have that I came across is that we have a guest that she's feared to go out anywhere. However, her caseworker gave her an ultimatum, said that you need to come to the retreat. If not, we cannot, you are not being compliant to the program. So she made it to the retreat. However, once again, because of her fear, every single of the staff, she needs someone literally holding her hands to do things. And fast forward, during that stay, the other residents was able to give her not only the physical support, also spiritual, mental. So at the end of the retreat, she was able to just go, when we go to grocery shopping, she was able to walk down the aisle by herself. She's able to grab help us out to, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go down to this aisle, I'm gonna grab the tomatoes, I'm gonna get the lettuce, milk. And then even afterward, she continued to go to, to volunteer. Like it's just her success, her story, amazed all of us. And we feel very success and grateful that, she is able to make those footsteps, those footwork on herself. It was we cried a little bit. It's like, wow, look at how much she grew. And so no further ado, I am going to, Adrian, Jessica, Todd, any one of you would like to jump in, please feel free to jump in.
Well, I don't mind going if that's okay with the others. Great. All right. So my name is Todd Noack. I'm from DeWitt, Iowa, which is a cornfield population of close to 5,000 people. We serve the whole state. I thought of this project when another peer-run organization I was with, we kind of disbanded, and I had to think of what I was going to do. And I said, I want to open Iowa's first peer-run respite. I know that's an alternative. I know that's better than being in an inpatient jail and knowing some support. And had worked with Casey Moyer from Nebraska on a couple conferences here in Iowa. And so reached out to them. So for 3.5 years, I had to develop a nonprofit. I had to find technical assistance. I had to find board members. So we were able to get national technical assistance. Plus we had some assistance through Mental Health Nebraska, where their team came down for a couple of days, helped us with policies, helped us with, some of the wellness vision that we go through, because one of the things that we all hate is paperwork. But we had to build it to what our respite was going to be like, because we had talked to some others in New York and Wisconsin. I think the one key thing on a peer-run respite is oversight of at least 51% of your board of directors with people with lived experience, and 100%, including myself, as the director of the organization, as people with lived experience, and not anything clinical taking place. So some of the things that we put into place was we wanted people, being in a 5,000 population town, we didn't want people coming from Des Moines or Cedar Rapids and not having a way back to their home. So we thought of, okay, well, we can't accept people that are homeless. And it really helps, because 7 days is not going to fix a homeless situation. And respect to my co-facilitator on here, with 2 weeks, I mean, I don't even know that you can fix that problem in 2 weeks. So we had that. One of the other pieces is, we want people to be substance free for 24 hours. Now, if they had 4 or 6 beers in the last 24 hours and it is not recent, and as long as it's not going to be a thing where they're going to be detoxing, that's fine. We also wanted to make sure, one is, I know peer respite, some of them do provide the meals. We didn't want to run into any diabetic issue, any other issue. So we said, okay, we are going to provide peanut butter and bread, milk and cereal, and coffee. So that's what we provide. The others, they need to bring their own food. We do have a lot of people that come straight out of jail, some that come out of inpatient units. So don't have a lot of food or the capability. But the one nice thing that we have out here is we have a one-stop place that is kind of a thrift store, food bank, and other things. And they have partnered with us, and they will give somebody 7 days of food to get them by, and give them some extra milk as well. One of the other things, and this is what helped me, is the DeWitt Fitness Center. Anybody that comes to the respite house can get a pass to go to the fitness center, because we know body, mind, and spirit, when it's all well, then we can treat the whole body. So if they want to go get in the pool, the hot tub, walk the track, play basketball, that's one thing they can do. Another thing is the implementation of, if they want to do rap, and having that available. We have tons of arts and crafts, tons of resources. So when they come in, again, it's about meeting them where they are. What we fill out is just basically a wellness vision. What is some of your hopes and dreams in staying here? What is some of the underlying issues that spark today's feeling, emotion, and got you here? One of the questions that I'm asked quite often is, who can come to the respite? We often say anybody. We don't look at diagnosis. We really look at the individual and what that life interrupting challenge is. I actually say it's your bed and breakfast for your emotional distress. And it truly is, right? I mean, I don't care if it's a fact of depression, or if, you just lost a family member, or, something else is going on. But the connection to resources that we have are really good too, because out of the last 5 guests we've had recently, 3 of them have needed to get into treatment. So having that substance use assessment is very important. And we've been able to support people along the way with that. I did have something I wanted to share real quick, and then I'll turn it over to my co-facilitators here. I just want to share some testimony. We have some here that, my name's Matt. I experienced Rhonda's house in 2019, struggling both alcohol and drugs, ended up in the hospital, needed a place to stay while I was waiting on treatment center. I was referred to Rhonda's house at the time. I was amazed at how nice the house was, and the staff treated me. Todd and Ned were so helpful while I was there. I was able to relax, but also take advantage of the resource tools that had available. One was RAP. It was, and continues to be, very helpful in my recovery. Today, I've been sober going on 3 years, and I'm a part of a great church in Burlington. Life's wonderful, and I have hope. I've been so inspired by the peer support received at Rhonda's house that I now chose a career path as a peer specialist myself, and work at this agency in Fort Madison, Iowa. That kind of thing really gets my heart. That's what it's there for. I have another one, Kim. She used to call the Iowa Crisis Line. She had called them, and one time was in a dark, gloomy place. She arrived at Rhonda's house and supported me in seeing that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Everything was perfect there, and the staff was all great in their own way. I would especially like to recognize Oma, who helped me realize that my life wasn't dark and hopeless. My stay at Rhonda's house was better than I expected. And if you ever come to a place in your life where you feel there's no hope left, they're just a call away. And this is from our National Technical Assistance firm, that we've been a pioneer in the peer delivery services in peer respite in Iowa, and also a model for rural communities across the United States. Again, people can't get over the fact that, they can come and go as they want. They aren't told when they have to go to bed, anything like that. And then all in this on sharing a video that has some really good stuff in here that
we are at Rhonda's house. That's Iowa's first and only peer-run respite. In fact, it's the only one in the country that's in a rural area.
it's really good. So the respite house is a place, I like to call it my bed and breakfast for my emotional distress or life-changing, altering experience. The respite house is a place to go where, and again, all my staff are people with lived experience. And when I say that, they have some sort of mental health diagnosis or addiction issues. And who better to help, right? Because we've been there.
We know what it's like. We know the resources. We know how to follow through the challenges of navigating the system. So Peer Run Respite, peer meaning myself and all the staff included have their own mental health and or addiction issues, and we're in recovery. So it's simply a place for anybody 18 and older who may be having some issues, mental health, addiction, or just needs support to come and do what they need to do. We are trained through the state to be able to share some of our story and kind of give hope when people may need it.
With drug addiction and mental illness, I've been on and off with it, but finally I've had enough and decided I needed some help, and I found this place, and it's actually one of the better places I found to stay at. It makes me realize that, you know, that there's other people going through stuff like that, and I'm not alone. This place definitely gives you hope. It's I've met a lot of good people here.
I wish it was here when I was going to my recovery, because I sure would have came here. It's more relaxed. It's not, you know, take your blood pressure or follow this rule or that rule. It's you work on yourself. You work on being you. We do a small screening to make sure that they're a good fit for Rhonda's house, to make sure they don't need a medical staff, because we don't offer that here. And then we let them know that we offer a 7-day stay. They have to bring their own food. If they can't, we have the referral center, and then they take care of themselves. They do what they want to do on their level and at their pace.
It helps them get that change of environment and revamp where it is they need to be. Some people may be living in an area where they don't get any sleep at all from neighbors or family. And if they come and they need to sleep, if that's part of the recovery, let them sleep, right? It re-energizes them to get back into life. My recovery will always be going. It's an ongoing thing, but again, I'm surprised at how much I learned and how many days I've come in here feeling down myself and get hope from that person walking through the door. So, and then being able to be there for someone, I can give back. I got little letters behind my name because I had a mental health issue. To me, that was just an amazing thing in itself, to be recognized for that and have meaning behind all the things I've been through in my life. So to be able to come here and share that and to give back what I've been given is unbelievable.
Call your life. So that particular house was our first house, and we had that for close to 3 years. Last year, we closed on our own home now, and actually I sit in kind of the backyard, a big building that used to be a beauty shop that was purchased with it. And so that's our main office, as well as our downtown location of our Wellness Recovery Center. But this is a picture of our new home, as well as the office there. Used to be they owned the motel. We sold the motel part off. But again, you know, truly, as the sign says, people enter strangers and they do leave as friends, not friends in the aspect of breaking ethics, but friends as far as having people as a new family, and they truly are a new family. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Thank you. Great video. So really quick before I jump, you know, Jessica, Adrian, Carrie put a question in the chat box. She would like to know, is the respite center be appropriate for people exiting a shelter waiting for transitional housing? So for my retreat, for the respite, for the shared recovery retreat in Murray Park, California, we, like I said, like people who identify, they have to be 18 and older. People who is identified themselves with mental health consumer and or substance abuse, they they're recovering from it. They are welcome, and the process similar to like what Todd said in the video. We do the application over the phone with them, and then we go from there. Especially if people, like you said, you know, if they just need a gap to bridge, you know, like for their next housing opportunity, you know, if that fits, you know, perfect, because, you know, they can stay for up to 2 weeks for free. And the retreat in Murray Park is alternate 2 weeks for men and 2 weeks for women. And also, you know, share too, like I mentioned, like share, we also have another program called Share Collaborative Housing to help people to, to connect them to housing too. So I hope I answered your question, Carrie, for my part. And who would like to go next?
I'll go next. Hi, I'm Jessica from Hacienda Hope Respite Care here, Hope Care Home here in Long Beach, California. We're a 10-bedroom room. We have 4 men on one side, 4 women on the other side, and 2 on the bottom for men or women who have support animals or not that can go up and down stairs. We do different support groups here. For me, a respite is somewhere, we're all peer run. So it's a place, instead of getting hospitalized, they come here. If you're going through any types of crisis, or, you want coping skills for your mental health, you need that rest, you can, Hacienda is here for you. We're here to, to help people in any way we can. The most important things I tell my staff is when someone walks into that door, make sure they feel accepted, welcomed, and loved. So, we're always here. We actually run 24 hours. So we have staff on site 24 hours here. If, if it's 3 in the morning and one of our guests here needs support, we're here to give you the support. We do different types of activities, bingo, karaoke, different games. We cook together. We do provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner here as well. So that, that's a good thing. For breakfast, guests, we'll provide the food. They'll cook their own breakfast. For lunch, we have simple things like sandwiches or things they can warm up. For dinner, we'll have buy things and we'll pick 2 guests to cook for that night and then other guests to clean up. So, it's teamwork. What can I say? Respites, are amazing. I wish we had more guests come, while they stay here. And we are a 3 to 7 day stay. If they're here for 7 days and we feel like, hey, they need that little extra support, we will extend them another week to come. And it's co-ed, so women and men at the same time. Every time, we have guests from, they come out of prison, different LGBT. We have guests that share that they have Asperger's. Just different, backgrounds. And the thing I like is that when a lot of people that come here, they land up building friendships with each other, the guests. And I love the fact that a lot of our guests feel like we're family. And that's why I tell my staff, it's important that we don't act like too professional. We have our boundaries, but we're all peers and we act, be a family here. So our guests, once they do exit, we do call to check up on them. See how they're doing. They're able to come 6 months later if they really need to come within that 3 months period, because their mental health and they don't want to go to the hospital. We do let them come back within the 3 months as well. We do have support groups here, and our support groups are open to anybody in the community 18 and over. So our guests usually do come back for the support groups. We have different ones daily. We also give peer support to our guests as they exit. They can come back. But we always check up on them to see how they're, how they're doing. And they always call us, hey, when they have good news or anything, they love to call us back to get the support as well. What else? I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share the brochure and a little bit of pictures. Todd, I loved your video. I think I need to make one of those. It's awesome. So let me share my screen real quick and I'm going to share a couple of pictures from what we do here. Can you see my screen?
No.
No? Okay.
There you go.
All right, so I'm just going to share little things. So here's a picture. Sometimes we do outings. We're close to the beach, so we got to go, to the by the beach, the boats with some of our guests. Sorry. Here's another picture. We have fiestas, you know, and the guests, we just love to just have fun, celebrate every holidays. I know this guests love that. We love to barbecue here. This is another thing. We had an ice cream social where we made fresh ice cream. This was this year's Valentine's. It's guests and staff. Like I always feel like we're all peers. We're all together, equal, and we all do things like equal. Another event that we had, a little Hawaiian event. Our guests, like I shared, guests love to barbecue. Well, they love food. And we had a barbecue here. And then I wonder if I can do the volume. Is there? Oh, here it is. Okay, so what I'm going to share now is 2 guests that shared about their stay here. Oh, it's not. Oh, man. I guess my volume thing's not working. Oh.
So Jessica, when you shared the screen, did you hit share sound and?
Jessica, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think hit that X button next to the microphone.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
It's not working? The one above it?
Oh, shoot. Okay, let me try it again. Sorry. Thank you so much.
Didn't mean to interrupt, Todd. I'm sorry. I just thought that might be the problem.
Been here at Hacienda for 2 weeks now. I just want to share my experience with you guys. Me coming out of prison, being in a lot of sober livings, I didn't really feel comfortable with the sober livings that they sent me to, so I got connected here with Hacienda Help, and the staff here is so wonderful. I feel loved, I feel welcomed. They help me get on my feet. They help me with plenty of resources to go to when I come. The people here are very friendly, and I just really enjoy my stay here.
Okay, let me share another one with you.
Hi, my name is Austin Newborn. I'm known in LA to all my friends. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and after spending maybe 20 years in prison, I got out, and little did I know at the time that I had post-traumatic stress syndrome and depression from the many years being in prison. I continued on, I became a drug abuser, and after moving around different places, I ended up my last time. I guess God gave me another chance. My last time going to prison, my third term. My sister, who lived down in the Long Beach area, encouraged me to come and live with her. Came and lived with her, and suffice to say, I was told about Hacienda Help. I didn't really consider it at the time because I was doing, I had another agenda going. However, after recently actually losing my place because of my own doing, I went back into support. Again, referred to as Mo. Came here, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's very peaceful. It's our natives are extremely forthcoming with their kindness as well as their spiritual awareness, because we fight a spiritual warfare in life, and it's not carnal, it's not a flesh thing, it's spiritual. It's something we can't see, and they help us with that particular side and to hopefully move on in life. And so I encourage everyone that's lost their way temporarily, to perhaps pursue that, and believe me, you'll get a new outlook on you. You'll be able to have more clarity than you really think. My name is LA, and thanks for watching.
Okay, so yeah, that's a little bit here of the house. I think that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you for sharing, Jessica. Thank you. So Adrian, you ready?
Sure I am. Thank you. It was really wonderful to hear all of your sharing and just to hear about the community that community of respites that is out there. It means a lot to know that we're all on the same page. And so our program we started in 2010, and there was not a strong peer community in our town in a sense of being able to facilitate a program. They had just found me. I was sort of hiding out in the world and doing what I could on Social Security. Still a voice here. I'm a voice here still to this day. But I was on Social Security, and they found me and started to get me working. I started off with 2 shifts and worked my way up to, over the course of a couple of years, as manager. There was a lot of conflict in the early days. We didn't really know how to cooperate. We struggled to find our voice, to share our voice in a way that was received by each other. And so one person would say something and we'd just go into it'd be a war zone in the meetings that we had. And so we really didn't have a strong footing, but over the course of time, we found that the people that we had to hire had to come from a loving center place and really open about their healing journey, how they are and who they are in the world, and really clear about that, because in the early days a lot of really sort of hostile situations were happening. And so it's not something I'm proud of necessarily, but I'm glad that we sort of had those working through to get to a place of clarity. So we're as I think I said, we're the first in California. Now there's something like 7 in California, and 7 respite houses. And so when I became manager, we started to get ahead of the curve. As a result of not having a strong enough peer community to support our own peer-run drop-in center, peer-run program, we had to work with a provider system. That's the way the county wrote their grant, and so we were fulfilling the needs of the county, and that was working. So that makes us a hybrid respite. And there's a lot of degradation, I'll say, around being a hybrid respite in the peer community, which is, in the early days at least, there were, where we actually had to say we have hybrid pride as a result of like the amount of pushback we got because we weren't fully peer run. That said, I mean, we are, for all intents and purposes, we run the house ourselves. We have some oversight with our parent company, but we have the free reins to do what it is that we need to do and create the right atmosphere for this environment. It's funny because each of my supervisors over the years have said, they wished that their other residential programs were more like Second Story. So we do have a lot of esteem, and so part of that equation is just how integrated we are into the broader mental health community, substance use treatment community. We're an integral part of how things operate here, and it wasn't always that way. We did have struggles of trying to find our way in. The county was, the provider system and the NAMI family systems who we're partners with, more or less, were concerned that we would maybe take over their jobs, or thinking we couldn't do the job, or we had an uphill fight the whole way to make our way into this Santa Cruz community. And when the chopping block comes, and it comes every funding fiscal year, we were always on the ready to go, and we were going to get cut once, and we organized myself and a couple of other people went to a state body and asked them to give money for brick and mortar, and we were able to get $9 million taken away from crisis residential programs so that respite houses could either buy a building or make improvements to their building. And so that money was given we got the full amount of 1.26 million, which gave us our 5-bedroom home. So we're a 2-week stay. And then actually we started to get to the point of getting cut again, and then we went through another huge advocacy process. And I wrote about it on Mad in America. It's there, kind of encapsulated there. But we were able to get about $2 million, bought the house outright, and then a couple of years, half of spending for a couple of years. So I'm getting ahead of myself here, but just to give you the nuts and the bolts, which I think the others did, really well in a sense, because it's similar, but we're a 2-week stay, 15 days actually. And you have to be 18 years or older. You can't be on the sexual predator list. You have to be open to county services. So that means we're working with people with, I hate the terms, but the term is specialty clients in California. So it means that we work with people with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, major depression. But all that aside, that's just like the context. There's not really we don't really identify with diagnoses. It's not something that we aren't diagnosing people. We aren't even looking at people through that lens, because largely when people walk through the door, they learn almost instantly sometimes, or pretty quickly at the very least, that there's not, you can be yourself. You set down the idea that I'm a mental health patient, and that just sort of leaves the consciousness, because we recognize that we all struggle in this world, and we try and bridge those gaps by walking alongside, and we all know how the peer model works. So I don't want to give too much detail into that, but we really do capture that expression, that experience of vitality of life, the potential that can return, the opportunity that we can find together. And so it's a dynamic that's just so beautiful. It's just, my whole life is like, how did, I suffered horribly in my early years, and still have, some residual effects, but would have been just lovely to be at a place like this and to be able to heal and grow, and knowing that the impossible is actually possible. Reclaiming one's life is within one's reach. And so we find that day by day, we find that that's possible. So we've really, and Todd is right, 2 weeks is not enough. Often enough, people get that 2 weeks, and by the end of it, they've just got their sea legs under them halfway through, and then they need more time. So we don't really have a limit on how many times people can come back. We're open door possible. We have, we work with people through distress. We are a step down, we're a step from, pre-crisis, post-crisis. In the midst of crisis, we work with all three spectrums, just so that we can stay a part of the life in Santa Cruz and the mental health system. So we've come full circle now, and just really loved as a program, as a model that people want to be a part of. And we have a staff of, I want to say 15 people. So we are around the clock also. We have, I want to say 5, including me, we have 5 full-time workers, benefits and everything there. And then we have, I think we want to say we have 4 people who are on Social Security, and we have to sort of dance with that a little bit, because they can't work. People on Social Security can't really work more than 8 days in a month. And so sometimes there's 5 weeks, sometimes that gives them 10 shifts. So we have an on-call team that will step in, an on-call team of about 4 people who step in to fill the gaps that way. So we are, my teammates and I we just, much like everyone else, we just love to be a part of everyone's life. And we don't have a lot of support groups, but we do get walks in the forest and the ocean. We're 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes away from each. So we have things like that, but we have check-in groups in the morning, like we used to call it Sacred Circle, but now it's more just like we as a community, we sit and we go through our business that we have to do. Who's coming in today? Does anybody need a ride anywhere? And then once sort of the business aspects are done, we have a 3-day out. So 3-day out, we ask people fill out a survey so the funders can know we're doing our jobs. So then we sort of plan for the day, and then we just talk, and we just sit in a circle and we talk about what's going on for us. And there's no, sometimes it's 20 minutes of talking, sometimes it's an hour or more. So it's just an opportunity to really open up to each other and just recognize who's in the room and who's a part of things. I'm going to close up by, we now have sustainability that's permanent at this point. We really do have, the amount of advocacy that we had to do, I can't imagine on earth that they would go after this program again. And I think that we have stronger allies now at the county, who are the funders of our program. I'll just show you some quick pictures here. I'm going to share the screen, and I hope that I don't open anything confidential, but let's see what we got here. Let's try this for now. Nothing there. Okay. And so it's not going to let it work. No, it's just not going to let me. Okay, I'm not going to be able to show pictures. Stop sharing. Let's see, stop share. But sorry, I don't think I'll have pictures for now. But anyway, I'll stop there and thank you for everyone for listening. It's been a pleasure. And I don't know if we have time for questions. How much time do we have for questions?
We have about 5 minutes at the same token, plus 15 minutes grace period.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time. I didn't realize how much it was a 45-minute session. I did not know that. Okay. Anyway, feel free if there's any questions.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you.
Of course.
And really quick, Jessica just dropped her as an example a brochure in the chat box. So feel free to download it and save it, and then pass it on. Share the word. Questions, feedback, thoughts.
Well, I'd like to thank Adrian for that, because he's right. That's one thing that we kind of took from Wisconsin and Nebraska was, each respite, whether they're a hybrid, whether they're Puron, no matter what it is, I think we have to think about people are going to want to use it again. And we actually, every 60 days can allow them to come back because serving the whole state, only 5 bedrooms, we want the opportunity for others to be able to utilize this. I think of the person that came in 2020, used the inpatient unit 9 times in 2019. Since coming in 2020, I actually talked to this person last week and checked in on this, has only used the inpatient unit 1 time. And, said that it was some of the skills and things and especially the people that really inspired and made a difference for that person.
Thank you, Todd. Anyone else? There's no more questions. Anything else you guys want to drop? Any flyers? Anything you guys want to drop it off and drop it into the chat box for people to, print it out for the resource? Feel free, because that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking for my flyer.
I'm gonna put my
And I'll put my email in if anybody wants to reach out for any further information.
I want to share something too. If you're not far or local, you guys are more welcome to come to visit us. Give us a call. You can come visit. If you're out of state and you're in the area, call and you can come to visit us as well.
I think sometimes as the director, Adrian, I can tell by your connections that, and I did see, I don't remember how many years ago it was that, you were having some trouble where is second story going to continue to exist, and hearing you now. And, the one thing I think we have as directors and even managers, but I think over the programs is that sometimes we carry that load that we too have a hard time. Where can I find my support for this? Because I don't want to share it around staff, to staff, right? And because we too have our own lived experience. So I know now, since you're 5 minutes from the beach, that if I need respite, I'm going to come to yours before Jessica.
I'm 10 minutes from the beach. I'm in Long Beach. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like 2.5 to 3 hours away from the beach, so I'm a little jelly.
Don't forget the forest. We've got the forest walks too. I don't mean to try and tempt you all further.
Yeah, we've got forests here too. We've got some great hiking trails, so at least we have that.
Where are you, Carrie? Where are you from?
I'm from Lake County.
Awesome.
Unclear.
Battle of the respite.
Best bass fishing in California.
Wow. You fish too?
No.
No.
Any more last minute burning desire? Anybody want to share about the respite?
I have a question for, well, Adrian and Jessica. How did you get your name? And Adrian, how did you guys get your name for your house?
Do you want me? I can share. So there was a group that they put me in charge of. It was the client core. It was when we were building the program, and we found the house, and it was 2 stories, and it was a second story floor plan. That was the reverse floor plan. That was part of it. Second story is like the reverse floor plan, but also just the sort of metaphor as well. This is our second, basically second chance, second story, rebirthing process, that kind of thing. I think that's generally. I think IPS also had a little bit of influence because they have in their training, they have a second story sort of something. I can't remember it now. It's been a while since I read it, but that's also part of it.
Us, we are Project Return, but Hacienda is an organization within. So, just a place that people come in for hope. And that's how we got a Hacienda of Hope.
What about you, Todd?
Yeah. So with the other peer run organization I was with, I had this project I was working on with another person, and she was we got a really good connection. She was 8 days older than me. She had 2 daughters that struggled with mental health, and I have some children adult children now that struggle with mental health. And right around the time that we were looking at opening this, she ended up passing away. And we were in the process of thinking, okay, well, the first house we used, the hospital let us use that house. We needed to come up with a name. And I took to my board of directors because I was asked to speak at her eulogy. And I said, I would really love to call this Rhonda's house, because she was a big advocate in the state with me. And her name was Rhonda Shout. So if you take Rhonda's house and put the S over to the house, that's her name.
That's beautiful. I love it, Todd.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, we all have our story behind the name of it. And it's always good to know the other side of it, the yins to it, feel more personal, and also like resonate, able to really, it just speaks volume. That's what it is about, peer respite, peer. That's why we know, even though we might not be, even though in the moment we are not having the same challenges, but sure, we heard you and we understand, and right here, if you're not alone. That's why, there's always a place somewhere, someone out there. The only thing is that closed mouth don't get fed. So just open, reach out. Someone's always going to be there. And once again, thank you so much for, I'm just going, not in any particular order, just on my screen. It's Jessica, Adrian, and Todd. Thank you so much for, presenting, sharing about your respite. So no further ado then, if there's no more other questions, we can close this session out.